So students, I am again with you and going to come with new topic, that is components of food. Now the components of food is basically categorized in different parts, and it is your second chapter. Here I am just all the things which I already discussed in previous videos. Now I am going to that things revised so that your knowledge can be extended. Now the here we are going to talk about the uh, very basic and important things by which you can learn more. Now here, since the topic is the components of food, components of food. Food, as already we have discussed about the topic food. Food is basically kind of the things, the substances which provides energy to or which provides the uh, growth and development, and also to fight the different kind of the disease, and that things we will get from the food only. The food is essential for all the living organisms. Now here's the foods related information I have given in skill booster first and second. Now this is the third part where we are going to discuss about the components of food. When we talk about the components of food, there are the three components of major components of food which provides different kind of the things to our body. What are these important things? First is energy provider, the kind of the substances, the food which provides the energy. What are the different component of that things which gives the energy? We will discuss these kind of the things. This energy by which we can do the different kind of the activities. We are talking about the so that the human being or living organisms are doing their work. Now when we talk about second necessary things which is very important, that is called the body building. This is the another important by which our body growth, and if the body will not grow, the all the activity, all the energy is not going to work properly. So the body should also be very structured manner, so that the energy which the by the food we are getting, that should be used properly. Now the third part is that is also there, that is called the protective part. That is the protection. The food also provides some kind of the components by which we get the protect our body. Now all the living organisms swing the foods, and all the foods provides, these are the essential things by which our body growth and development take place. Now what happened when we talk about the energy, which kind of the components which provides basically energy, which kind of the foods component which provide energy, and that is called the carbohydrates, and second one is the fat. We will discuss these things in detail. These are the components of food which provides the energy to our body. Now when we talk about the bodybuildings are kind of the proteins. These proteins basically provides different kind of the things by which the body grow, and bones, muscles, they are basically provided by these proteins. These are the protected bodybuilding, which is muscles and bones are developed through these proteins. Now, when we talk about protective parts of body, and that will that is present in our food, that is called vitamins and minerals. Vitamins and minerals, these are the protective components of the body. Now, what this vitamin and minerals do? They protect basically different kind of the diseases, different kind of the disease. Here, on the basis of the energy giving component, on the basis of the bodybuilding component and protective component, these are divided in three major categories, and all these three major categories are under carbohydrates. Carbohydrates and fats are the major components of energy giving, which is in our food, which should be in our food. Bodybuilding components, which provides the body to growth and development in our body, and that is through only proteins. And those proteins are basically what they do, they make their bones strong and muscles, and gives the muscles uh, um, and also the protective layers, protective components of food is vitamins and minerals, and these vitamins and minerals are basically protects from the different diseases. These are the some major components which we are going to discuss. And since all these things are basically nutrients a kind of diet which we will get from our food. Nutrients is a kind of the diet which we will get from our food. On the basis of the nutrients, you can also understand nutrients is basically kind of the diet. It is a kind of the diet which should in our food, and these are the nutrients based on the different kind of the works of body, different kind of the work by the food. What are the different kind of the functions which performed by the foods are basically energy, bodybuildings, and protection also required. And these energy giving components of food is carbohydrate and fats. Bodybuilding foods are proteins, and proteins basically provides strength to our bone and muscles, and also the protective components of food is vitamins and minerals, and these are vitamins and minerals basically the diseases which the diseases which the different kind of the diseases by which the vitamins and minerals protect. So these are the some basic things which is the component of the foods. Now when we talk about the nutrients on the basis of the different work, the nutrients again divided in six parts. The nutrients basically divided in six different parts, that is called carbohydrate, vitamin, minerals, fat, roughage, and water. These are the components of different nutrients. These nutrients are present in our body. Now the carbohydrates and fats are energy giving foods. Vitamins, minerals are basically the kind of the foods which make our body, which required to build our body. And also here we can also have some proteins also. These are the some six seven component which is nutrients, and these nutrients are required in our body. Now when we talk about carbohydrates, here we are going to talk about first nutrient, that is the kind of the diet, the kind of the things which is made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. This is kind of the nutrients which is made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The example of these nutrients are like glucose, starch, and cellulose. These are the three carbohydrates which is present, which can be present in our diet or animals diet. Now the when we talk about glucose, glucose is basically simple carbohydrates. It is simple carbohydrates which dissolve, simple carbohydrates which dissolve in water, like sugar, fructose, and maltose. These are the simple glucose, and this simple glucose is basically simple carbohydrates which is dissolved in water. They are basically sugar, Here we can write glucose in presence sugar, and here write glucose. Sugar is a basically simple carbohydrate which dissolve in water, and the example of sugar is glucose, fructose and maltose. These are the some examples, and this is basically carbohydrates which provides energy. Now when we talk about starch, starch is basically complex carbohydrates. This is a complex carbohydrates made up of combination of different carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So it is called the complex carbohydrates, and it is less dissolving, does not dissolve in water. And example of this is rice, tomato, potato. These are the some examples of starch. Uh, starch. Now, when we talk about cellulose, cellulose is a, basically kind of the that cellulose is not found in simple or food. It also it is found in basically that green grass, and this cellulose is again a complex carbohydrates. This cellulose is basically complex carbohydrates, and this is also not dissolved in water. Since it is a complex carbohydrate, it is not dissolved in water. What happened here? It is made up of plant cell wall, and that provides the protection to the plants, and because of that hard layer cell wall that cannot be chewed by human beings, and that's why these kind of the things are basically chewed by the animals which has a the kind of the cells by which they digest this kind of the things. It is all about the carbohydrates. These carbohydrates, again I am repeating you, these carbohydrates are basically carbon made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. If that kind of the things, and carbohydrate basically provides energy. Now what are the different energy giving sources? That is sugar, starch and cellulose. These are the energy giving sources. When we talk about sugar, these are the simple carbohydrates. These simple carbohydrates basically dissolve in water, and examples of this like glucose, fructose and maltose. And these are the glucose which you are generally drink after playing kind of the activities. That's why this is the energy giving source. Then when we talk about starch, starch like rice, tomato, potatoes, these are the some kind of the foods by in which the starch are present. Now this starch is very complex carbohydrates, and this complex carbohydrate do not dissolve in water. When we talk about cellulose, cellulose is again the complex carbohydrates, and these carbohydrates are present in green vegetables, uh, fruits and vegetables. These cellulose are basically present in fruits and vegetables. These These cellulose are made up of cell wall, and that cell wall is a kind of the layer which is surrounded the all the all kind of the things inside. Now what happened when these the digestion of these cellulose is not very easy for human being. That's why these are most of the time the green grass, like grass is not eaten by human being because it is made up of cell wall, and that cell wall is not digested in human by the human being. That's why these kind of the plants are eaten by only animals which have the digestive uh, organisms in their body. That's why this also provides the energy. Now it is all about the kind of the things by which the carbohydrates are get. Now will be second important things which provides energy, that is fat. Now the fat is again a carbohydrates which is made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. This is another kind of the carbohydrates which presents in our body in form of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Now what happened here when the lack of energy, it fats also not very useful for our body, but if it is in excess then it is not useful, but if it is in a balanced then it is very useful. What happened when the carbohydrates like glucose, starch, all these carbohydrates are not sufficient to do some kind of the activities by human being? At that time, the energy which are getting by human beings are by the fats. The fats which is available in their body, in human body, that available fats gives energy to the human beings. It is a kind of fats when running body required more energy than fats responsible to give energy. Like examples of fats like butter, ghee, oily food. These are the some examples of fats by the we get the fats. These fats are basically required to work when the carbohydrates as not lacking their energy. At that time, this the present fats which is responsible to work for the body, and that is the butter, ghee and oily foods. Now we are going to talk about the different tests by which we can say that whether it is the foods have proper present starch or fats. Test for carbohydrates, basically starch. What happened here? We are testing in our component whether starch is present or not. What happened? First, take small amount of food, add iodine, if the color become if color become violet, then it is said that foods have starch. Now for fat, what you will do? Test of fat. Take a cooked dry food. Take cooked dry food and put it into dry paper or cloth. Hold it and keep it for keep it till oily patches oily patches hold it and keep it till oily patches. If this oily patch is shown on the paper, that means the food contains fat. This is the test of fat. It is all about today's session. What you have to do again, you have to revise all these things in a similar way and use previous video also so that your understanding can become good. Now I am trying to give you more and more, but if you are having a also coming a problems, please understand all these contents, write down all these contents, also make your proper note with good handwriting, sort out the different question answer given in your exercise, write down all these question answer in your copy, and whatever the problems are coming in to you, find out, write in comment box. So it is till so it is today's topic. Now we will discuss next topic in next class. Till the time, enjoy your life. Thank you.